Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a new stream. Today is the last stream on this particular piece. We're gonna finish it today. Not gonna finish it off stream, but the goal is to bring it to a finished level today. According to YouTube, again, a stream is not good. Some viewers may get some small problems, but OBS says it's fine, so let's believe OBS and hope that it is okay. So let's get started quickly. Before I do anything else, I kind of want to get this out of the way. Perspective of this thing is not good. So let's select the right layer and copy it. And there's two ways we can go about it. We can go like this, or we can go like this. I think we're gonna go like this because that's easier for us to fix. So I think it's better now. Try to yeah, that's better. It's definitely better. So that was a quick fix that needed to be done. Still not totally sure about the perspective down here, but I'm gonna roll it for now. Yeah, so today is about finishing this up. It's still gonna be quite a rough painting, so we could spend more time on it if we really wanted to, but I think I don't really want to. Let's bring in some color, shall we? I think this line is too strong as well. Let's try to fix that as well. Now we're at it. Better to fix it early than struggle later. Just copy it, and I think we can just like this. Probably works. Yeah. All right. So we have this terrain here. We want to add some sort of roads and things in the city. We want to clean up some edges here and there. So that's gonna be it for today. And after that, we hopefully can call it a day. So let's quickly get going. For instance, here this roof, we can clean these things up. Get some extra beams in here and there. Make everything nice and clean, basically, on all the buildings. Let's figure out a good brush size. 15 is probably right. So today is all about those tiny little details that will clean up the painting and make it look a lot nicer. It will still look like a painting, of course, in the end. But that's what we want. I'm still not sure if I want to keep this purple. we had the purple here at some point, but I think I'm gonna replace it with this reddish color. I think the red fits the industrial theme a little bit better. We can keep it like this, for instance. And caps lock, I want shift key. Maybe we will put up a sign here later. Darker. Let's try to clean up this a little bit. It's a little bit bended. We could go with it, of course. Why not? I don't know. This may be some doorway or docking bay for a ship or like that, cargo ship, an airship that is, of course. Sure about this white. So yeah, we basically will will follow the entire painting, doing just that. Just clean out those little edges, clean out those lines, and I think that will help a lot. And after that, we will add some more details. In the meantime, we will are adding detail as well, of course. But after we've cleaned everything up, we will do one more pass with details. And then it's probably going to be finished by then. So we need to figure out what color we want to make this. Don't want to draw too much attention to this corner. It kind of needs to sort of bleed off into the mist, I think. I think if we were to follow this line, perspective would turn out a little bit better. Let's try to do that. From here to there, something like that. And we still have to do something with this. And this is the better color, I guess. And get rid of these brush strokes from the past. So this is a phase I usually I don't do too much because I don't really have the patience for it, but it's a really important phase for the painting to just bring it up to that next level of detail to make it more readable to the people who are looking at it. A lot of people will recognize that it is a building and things like that, but sometimes you have to help the people understand what's going on exactly. So you probably want some sort of a storefront kind of thing. We might pull in some textures for that. We can paint that in if you want, but that's gonna take a long time. And if we put in some textures, we're gonna save so much time. So for things like that, I always like to find some neat textures to do that. That's what we did with the sides of the buildings as well. This is all photo texture and painted over. So if you look carefully, you can still see a lot of the texture, but been altered so much by just painting over it. Can't really see the original photograph, what it was, and some things have been deleted, other things have been added. So it's altered quite a bit. Dark. And that way you can quickly fill in your buildings or vehicles or whatever you want to paint. Not spending a huge amount of time of that. That's so cool about the digital tools. It's can save you so much time. And of course, that doesn't mean that you can't paint it in by hand. If you want to, you can perfectly do that. But if you want to save a lot of time, this is a really good way to do so. Of course, you have to be careful that it doesn't become photo bashing, so mashing a bunch of photos together and hope that it looks right. And the opinions on that are, from what I've found, there are different opinions on that, on what's considered photo bashing. Some people consider using textures photo bashing. I don't, because you don't use the photo as your sort of subject matter. You create your own subject matter. The photo is just there to help you speed up the process, but the design is yours, not the photograph, not the person who took the photograph. And I think with photo bashing, you let the photo dictate the picture that you're painting or drawing. But that's just personal opinion. I think you can spend hours and hours on debating that, what is and what isn't. And I think there's a fine line between photo bashing and textures. So yeah, there will probably never be a clear answer to that. Trying to get this sort of line right. I think I have it here right now. The right one. I think I'm gonna add some reflection to this area here, because this is all glass on this building, so we want it to be by glass as well. So some reflections help with that. I think this one is the weakest sort of part, weakest link, so to speak. But we can change it up quite a bit if you want to, and then we can select a different part. Of course, we can also could copy a bit of this and transfer it over. Work as well, probably. I think we need something sort of a darker corner. This is probably alright, but so you need some variation in reflection when you have a glass window, because the amount of light that is reflected is controlled by the objects behind the window. Let's do it like that. It's okay. All right. I think I want to have some sort of overhang here. Something like this, same as we have up top here. Of course, it's gonna be way darker. This probably, and then we are gonna have some darker areas. This is all just me sort of figuring out how the lighting will be, the lighting situation, and yeah, so I think a lot of it is practice, but it also sort of, a lot of it is just common sense. It's and thing is, with a painting, you can dictate what the lighting is going to be like. No one is telling you how to do it. I would like if I could area behind it a little bit lighter, and then make the pillars, give the pillars some shadow. Building also has a roof. I kind of want it to be kind of rusty. Color for here. Don't want this to be too strong. So we want a portion of the original sort of texture seep through. So maybe this roof is made out of different panels, and each different panel has a slightly discoloration to it, so it's not a uniform color. Probably have to have some sort of a strong outline here. Let's put the opacity back to 80. Probably have a selection somewhere. Brush isn't anything. And yeah, I guess we can sort of make this. I don't know what. So these things are not on the same level. That looks a little bit weird. I probably should be careful with that. I kind of like it this way, haphazardly built, layer upon layer, stuff like that. I think I'm gonna grab this brush again, set it to opacity as we did before, and I'll make that again. But with a slightly different color tone. And we probably want to have some way to separate it from the background. So I think we're gonna add a highlight here. Bit. So this is all this reddish, purplish color, and we're gonna highlight that's a lot lighter and a little. If we're gonna use this, we're gonna have to use other places as well, I think. I think gonna have to happen is that we have to probably darken this a little bit. It's not dark yet. Especially a little. Let's make it a little darker. So the roof sticks out a little bit better, and the same goes for here. We can just let's make this a little bit darker. And then we can this roof clean well. Opacity back to 80. I really make this a nice sharp edge. Probably should use the lasso tool, and yeah, I think that's a better idea. The lasso tool is sort of trim off the edges. Don't want soft brush. Then we can make this color change nice and like it. We should probably add this whole area to it. To prevent differences in color. There we go. It's a little bit cleaner now. We need something for this background. I might copy something over from here and put it there and sort of distort it a little bit. How long was this? 25 minutes. Gotta see, check the pace at which we're working and see how far we can come today. I think we can make it fairly finished. So as you can see, it's just minor details, but it gets a lot cleaner, and that's what we want. I think I'm gonna just do a tiny bit of cleanup here, and then we're gonna call this finished for now, because we don't want to go too far. We still want it to have a bit of a messy look to it, and if we clean too much, that messy look gets lost. I think I'm gonna work with this one though. That has a nice texture to it. That brush. I love brushes with textures. Because almost everything has a texture. Except for the problem is it doesn't work when it's small. Except for highly polished objects and things like that. They don't really have a texture to them. But things like this that are out in the open, you have some sort of texture to it. I probably should just select this and use a soft brush to do the sky there, just as I did back there. It's sort of the same technique here, and add a layer of slightly different color and value to sort of get the glass effect going. Yeah, I think that works. Still not sure what to do with this sort of aircraft thingy. I think I'm gonna get rid of that tower up there. I don't really feel that it adds to the building currently. So say goodbye to it. Of course, we want sort of a replacement for this stuff. Just not sure what yet. It has to be some sort of a docking station. I think we can blend this together. Okay, that works. Go. It's a sort of a docking station there. So let's paint that out now. I think I'm gonna paint it on a new layer so we can actually turn it on and off and see if we like it. Well, so I usually paint on one layer, but things that I'm not sure about, I try to do on a separate layer, so I can, as I said before, I can turn it on and off and see what I think of it. But this is just detailing that's probably gonna stay. So. I think I kind of wanna sort of a helicopter hovercraft crossover. Hovercrafts actually are really cool. Wow. Some military hovercrafts who look awesome. Some concepts. Are these actual photographs? I probably should pull this up on the screen so you can look at the same thing as I'm looking at. But look at these things, man! Wow. Of course, I'm planning on not a water hovercraft, but more like a helicopter. But what I really like about the hovercrafts is because you have the people close to the blades. They build those protectors around it. You have that with drones as well. Google drone. Not all of them actually. Some of them. The underwater drone, hydro drone. Wow. I bet we could just pick. Let's go really cheap with this. I don't want a web shop. I just want to copy the image. This is what I mean by this. This is more like photo bashing than. This is probably a little bit more photo bashy than I usually do. As you can see, this is sort of the perfect view. It's upside down, but nobody will see that in the end, hopefully. I want it to set to darken. And it's probably a little bit too large and slightly out of whack. So yeah, we can just put that there and say, you know what? Collapse that layer. Let's quickly paint on top. So let's say that this is the cockpit, for instance, and body is just, this is just gonna be the body. And then we create a sort of a space craft thingy or futuristic fly thing out of a toy. No, this is quite a professional drone. I think it was 800 euros, so it wasn't a cheap one, but still. But at least out of the image of no, there is a lot of professional use, of course, for drones, but basically it's sort of a toy image. We could pick the cheapest one in red if necessary. The color doesn't really matter. Thing is, I'm really screwing this up. Don't want that area. As you can see, the problem is I'm following the design of the drone too much. So I think I'm getting rid of that drone ID. Sometimes you just have to see that something doesn't work. And I think the scale was too big. Probably want something helicopter-like. Maybe we do two sort of helicopters. One. Sort of like this. I think that's a better idea. Just basic designs. We'll add a little twist. They're on slightly raised platforms. On their own platform. And don't get me wrong, these are really minor details. So if you wanted to, we could just say like, you know what, there's nothing here. I think in the end, is add to the overall feel of the painting. Give sort of a scale to the building, because you have an idea on how big a helicopter is. Of course, they're in different sizes, but usually, if the model is sort of shaped like this, you have an idea on how big that is. So then you also can have an idea on how big the building actually is. So these are there for a human scale. And maybe we change up the design a little bit on each of them. And we probably should sort of add rear windows and things like that. Color. You're probably not gonna see anyway. But so I think that looks quite convincing. A lot better than the drone, at least, and better than the thing I had there before, which didn't have a shape and was just there to remind me. You know what? You have to put something here that's capable of going airborne. That was basically it. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, but we could make this sort of a radar unit. I don't know if that makes sense, but something like this. Don't know if it really reads that well, but and we also have to clean up a little bit of this mess because there's still a lot of artifacts. I wouldn't call it artifacts, but a lot of leftovers from the images that I used as textures. Yeah, not sure what to do with this region. Building this area. Entirely sure. I'm gonna give it the same treatment as the rest. Just add that glassy glow to it. Oops. And then we still have this sort of these stairs. Where it is, these grates. Treated metal things. Probably add a couple of highlights on that. Oh. Gonna make them more pronounced. And I think they end here. Probably have to try to get rid of this. Make this line. Glass sort of bends over here. Maybe there's sort of a thing that marks the change direction. So yeah, that's a little bit cleaner now as well. I think it sort of works. So yeah, we can collapse this, and if we look at our 40-minute mark, this is the work that we've done. I think that we came to a fairly nice finish on on this building. So we're gonna move on to the next one, to this one. I think this one does need a little bit less work because it's in the background, and I think it's already fairly decent in terms of details, and I don't want to mess too much with it. Just clean it up here and there, make the edges a little bit cleaner, things like that, but nothing too major. But that's a fair bit of time is consumed by this process. Probably takes the longest, but it's also quite relaxing. I should do this more often because the piece is essentially it's finished. I mean, the design is there, everything is there. Just have to sort of make it look that bit nicer. So sort of curved lines that need to be straight, you sort of straighten up the lines. Some places there needs to be a highlight, so you put down the highlight, and with every brush stroke, these very subtle changes sort of make the painting come alive a little bit more, without having to think about design or anything, because the design is in place. You just have to sort of clean it up, and chisel it out a little bit more than it is currently. So it's a really relaxing, I think. I don't know which part I find the most enjoyable in a painting. I really like it when a painting comes together, when it sort of clicks and thinks, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do with it. When you go from the I'm not sure if this looks good to, yeah, this actually works, sort of that state, that phase, I really like that, because then you know you're on the right path. Sometimes that can take a while, and sometimes you take a painting in a certain direction and you sort of have to change up the direction of the painting or start a new one to get that feeling. At first I didn't really have that with this one. I knew from the 4 sort of paintings that I made that for some reason this one had a lot of potential. I kind of knew that, but it was also the one that I liked the least. So that's a really strange situation. But for some reason, you know that this particular one has the potential to become really good, really cool, and really good. So that's why I decided to go with this one instead of any of the other four they did. Maybe I will do this, but I don't think so. I think I will move on, and I think for the live streams, I think I will just work on a single painting every time. I think that just works better. Although I like to, when sketching and things like that, I like to work in multiples. I think for the purpose of live streaming it, it's better to just work on one, because then we can finish a painting in a reasonable amount of time. If I'm doing four and I work for, let's say, 4 to 6 hours on each, you're talking about a lot of hours and a lot of streams, because I usually stream for about 2 hours at most. So let's say every painting takes 4 hours to complete, and I make 4 of them simultaneously. Then you're gonna look at the same sort of paintings for 8 live streams. That's not fun. It's 4 weeks at least. So I think I'm gonna do one from now on, just one painting, and then you only have to look at one at a time. And I think that's more fun for me, because I got to change sort of the subject matter of the painting more often, and at the same time for the audience it's better as well, because they get to see a new painting every week. Probably should have started from this side and all use the same angle. Yeah, it's quite clean looking now, but I think that's okay. We'll add some stuff to it later that will hopefully take away the cleanliness. The I think the further down we go, the messier I want to keep it, or the less detailed. Not necessarily messier, but at least, but less detail, or less contrast, because I want this to be sort of these buildings to be the focal point, top of this one and this one. And this is just there to support the focal point and shouldn't draw too much attention to itself. So hopefully we can achieve that. Clean this up a little bit. And I think we're gonna work with some extra textures soon. Just gonna work on this for a little moment. And on the, I think this is fairly decent. Maybe it can use some more detail, but not much. And then we're just gonna work on this one. I actually pointed at my screen. It's really silly. on this one here, and then we're gonna take a small break, and then we will throw in some more textures and finish it up. Well, or call it finished. Of course, we can finish this even more, and you can make this as finished as you want to be. But when is a piece finished? It's never really finished. There's always some improvements that you can make, some brush strokes that don't perfectly align, or some color that's slightly off, or and in my case there's a lot of sort of sloppiness to the painting, but I kind of like it. I kind of like the rough, sloppy looking look, to keep that at a certain level. Not too much, not too little. But yeah. Try to sort of design out this, or design out, the design is there, but sort of figure out a little bit more on how this exactly looks, and clean it up accordingly. Of course, there's still a lot of suggestion of detail. Still, you have to sort of make the suggestion readable. That's what we're gonna try to do. Um, or we can use some with darkness. Yeah, there we go. So I think that's fine. Be a little bit too dark, but it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. Just draw out the overall shape. Like that. And maybe we will add another level of detail to this. Maybe some we can maybe let it be a little bit overgrown here. Maybe it's not necessarily abandoned, but don't really spend time on getting rid of the vegetation like that. So yeah, that's a progress of the first hour. I think we made good progress. We sort of cleaned it up nicely. I'm gonna make myself another coffee. And in the next hour, we're gonna throw in some more textures and we're gonna finish it up. We're gonna see if we can do something here at the bottom to add some nice contrast to it. Probably add something with windows, or I don't know, and some light effects. We also have to work on the sky a little bit. Maybe add some city background here, or maybe we'll just keep it like that. Maybe work in some cloudy bits, but so far I'm actually quite pleased with this piece. I'm happy, and we're gonna continue after the break. So let's put up the break screen, and I'll be right back. And I'm back. I got some coffee here. Had a quick bite. So hopefully we can sustain enough energy to finish this last stretch. I'm gonna sort of browse my couple of pictures to see what we can use as textures. I think things like this are actually quite useful. I usually use them on bigger buildings, but I also got this one. Got more windows, so I could, if I do it like this, screen. All right, so let's put this here, and then around these images. It's a really strange one, but right. Nah, I don't think so. I kind of want to have some green stuff. There is still some green left from the original sort of landscape that I had. I kind of want to do something with that, so let's open up some green stuff as well. Just so that we can add... Oh, it doesn't work the way I anticipated. Fine then. So just so we can add some green stuff. Yeah. What else? We want some lights, some industrial looking stuff. I probably should spend a couple of hours looking for more photographs, because I keep using the same, and then I can definitely use a couple more. A lot more actually. Maybe we can do something with this. You know. What's this? It's a moon. Oh, it's a lunar eclipse, actually. I think let's open Bangkok as well. And where is my? Want it in the same. Oh, it automatically opens it at the end. All right. Photoshop. Oop. Times Square. I have some stuff. I'm not sure whether I have that here. We could open this one as well. I think we can use this one. And something for these windows here. Tokyo. And I know I have Times Square somewhere. I use that all the time. Yeah, this one. Use that one. Can you use this one? It's really useful. All right. We don't want to mess this up. Let's start with this one actually. Grab it, throw it on top, and start using some layer effects. think it's probably going to be screen that we are looking for. And in a low opacity. I think this section is quite useful, so we're going to delete all of this. And delete this one, this area. And we're gonna sort of bend it to our will. We're gonna get rid of the top part. Rid of most of the bottom part. And we're gonna use the soft eraser to erase across the edges. And there we go, we got some sort of artificial light going on. The dodge might be better. Let's put it on screen for now. Just to add a little bit more color variation. It's probably too much. So we might tone it down later. Really like this. These lights. I think lights are really cool to have. Maybe it works for this background part here. So let's set it to screen. It's actually quite light. I think it works well on this building as well, so we probably throw something on there as well later. So let's get rid of most of it, especially these blue lights. I use them on other excuse me, in other paintings as well. I really like those. I think we can definitely use them. For this one as well, so I probably just should use the lasso tool as well for most of the... No, because then separation is too harsh. Just need to make sure that I paint over this again. I think it brings in a little bit too much detail, probably. Down here it's okay, because we want some texture on that square. I think it may be a little bit too much. But we'll see, we still have some painting on top to do. I want to use the Bangkok one as well for this one. So, preferably this corner again. Get rid of this. And this. And this. That. Screen. Just thinks it works really well in certain areas. Other areas maybe a little bit less, but this can go away. This can go. This can go mostly as well. I think we're gonna get like that. And then like that. Maybe we should just do a layer. So we can individually adjust the opacity. Lower it a little bit. And we definitely want this in a separate layer as well. Because this is really cool, I think, these lights. I really like those. I can say at 100% opacity. Just want to sort of trim off there. And I think we want to get rid of that. Not sure, still not sure on using this for the background. Which one is it? That one. I don't think we're gonna use it. It adds way too much clutter and detail to the background that I don't want, so we're gonna get rid of that. And I think we're just gonna go with some sporadic lights from, for instance, from this one. So we're gonna throw that on here. And if we were to sort of make that to that perspective and put it on screen, we then can, or probably color dodge is probably the better one for this one. Or overlay. Probably overlay, yeah, overlay is a better one here. And then we can sort of transform this and can get rid of some sections. It's just like this. So we still have those extra details, but they're far less prevalent than before. And we will probably add some lights, but not too much. Maybe these lights. What if we were to copy those upside down back here and make them a lot longer. And we can change the color on these, of course. And then we can erase most of them, most of it by just saying, you know what, these lights are shining back there in the background and not here in the foreground. And we probably are better off by just turning them back to blue. Something like this. I don't really like this aqua. I think this way they're better. There we go. We can also just copy things like this. There's a lot less detail in it than than an entire city. So what if we were to this on screen? That actually works quite well. With what we want. So get rid of foreground here, this area here. It's a little bit here and there. Is this part? Keep those bright. No. Keep them big. Yeah, that works as well. I think we can even change that if we want to. We can make those blue as well. Which works quite well, actually. It's the overall theme quite well. So let's see if I'm happy with the lights so far. Sometimes you just keep adding stuff and you don't really know where you came from. So this is where we came from. And I have to say we don't really want to overdo this, and I think we overdid it here. So we're gonna get rid of that. I think that that part just doesn't work there. And we might probably need to get rid of a bunch of stuff from here as well. But we need to grab the right layer. Wait, can't erase? Why not? Ah. So yeah, I think the way to go is to not overdo it. And it's quite easy to overdo it, I think. So maybe we'll keep it this way. I think we're gonna keep it this way for now. I'm gonna try to add some green. Still not sure what to do with the stuff back here. I'm gonna try to just throw in some idea of some sort of suggestion of detail. And we're gonna try to a little bit. copying the paint here. We don't want that whole thing here. Okay. Down here, fix the perspective, get longer. Lower. And try some layer effects. This might work. Color dodge, screen. Lighter color is probably a good idea. And then we'll just lower the opacity a little bit, and then we have something here as well. Yeah, I think that works. So we basically cheated in a bit of stuff there. Alright, so let's grab a new layer and start painting again. That's not... I was a bit too optimistic there. I still want some stuff with the green. Don't need all this anymore. So what if we copy some green stuff? Where? Just erase a bunch of it. Keep a bunch of it as well. Just that, just sort of the tiniest bit of green. Just so that it looks like it's over. It's there is green going on. And now let's try to paint a little. So you get this nice greens here. Opacity is 80, that's good. Size is 15, that's probably right size here. And, I don't know, we probably want this to be fairly bright. We had the hint, the slight hint of green here already, so it's good. We can use that. Just, not sure if it really will really work, but and I don't know whether we should add green to the from here. I think this is the way. And blend this in the background a little better. There we go. I think that's fairly okay. Yeah. Am I happy so far? Sure about this one. We can get a little bit more. Keep the blue going. I think I'm gonna work on the sky a little bit as well. And we still want to have some aerial vehicles in the sky, or at least one, but probably a couple of them. I think that's sort of the last things that we want to do, sort of blend that together. Just fill up the city with things like that. Pole vehicles. Indication of, well, there is an indication of some people down here, but there's not much going on here, so we need something. But I'm not sure yet how to fill that in. Maybe some sort of a market. Yeah, so like a black market or something, or just a normal market, I don't know. That you look on top of all these market stalls. I want to have an aerial view of the market. See whether I can sort of bend it the right proportions to fit. This is sort of a statue. Really, what I was doing with this yet. But there's always sort of statues on square, ornate things. So I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not add a sort of a statue or a fountain, something like that? We could make it a fountain. Add some light there, and maybe some water is spraying up. I don't know. I also don't really want to spend like 10 minutes designing this thing out, because it's such a minor detail, so I might just decide, you know what, kind of feels out of place. And I think if I were to do, why can I not select my brush? Why doesn't that work? Or sometimes I don't know what's wrong with Photoshop. Probably because I didn't select it. I feel if I were to build a statue or whatever, I'd have to make it like really huge and make it a prominent part. So instead of this tiny thing here, I'd have something like, I don't know, something like this. And that as a statue. The problem is, do I want that? Do I want to disturb the view here? I don't think so. I think I want to have these roads. I talked about that last episode already, or during the last live stream, to add these with roads going like that. Going to the distance and like this is from there to there, and maybe this is sort of a not really a monorail, but a sort of a rail where vehicles float above. So then sort of add all these dots that are meant to represent vehicles. So this one is crossing in front of that one, I think. You have to alter the and then yeah, something like that. Maybe there are some larger vehicles, but the sort of all they're not necessarily all sort of all floating in the above the same thing. Maybe it gives them energy or something like that. And the same goes for that one. But those go that direction. So that we have some idea of activity in this city. And maybe there's some sort of a force of these. I don't know whether we can sort of possible by grabbing sort of fairly bright blue and soft brush, for instance, like this, and they are all floating in that field. Something like that, and then they all have they have different colors. This is Highway 1 and Highway 2, for instance, and Highway 1 is Highway 2 is maybe a slightly different hue. Orange. And then we have to sort of connect the cars to the particular color because they're, this is on highway blue one. They may sort of emit a blue light. I don't know. So we're gonna grab this blue light. Very, very bright. Tap all these vehicles, just a tiny. It's a tiny tap. Maybe this one has two. So that are linked in, so to speak, to their particular road. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up as I go. But I don't know if it looks okay. They probably have to. Where's my highway? It's the orange one. Lower it. This thingy. And the blue one is as well. And then we probably have to sort of make it disappear a little bit more in the mist. Select. That may not be the best color to do that. Probably. Or just not at all. Let's just do not at all. But we have to. I think the better way is just to darken this up. Read a lot of layers. I probably should collapse a couple of them because we don't need as many as we have now. Not really necessary to have that much on, but so that's my problem. Once I sort of start using layers, they sort of start to build up, and then I don't collapse them until the next session. Let's 70. Yeah, I don't think that highway comes from this building, but from behind it. So we want to like this. So yeah, there we go. I could probably call it finished, but I think I need more people down here. just to make this feel connected. Rest. I'm not sure still about this sort of streak of light color thing stuff. And let's also look a bit on the train thingy. Let's put it back to 80 capacity. We don't really do too much detail on the train. We just have separate cars. Just enough. It's a goods train, not a passengers train. It's what we want to sort of show by alternating the look of each car. So, I think I'm gonna add some more highlights to the overall painting. So we're gonna make this really bright. Just to separate things a little bit more. Makes certain things stand out from the rest. Just as a finishing touch. Be careful to not to overdo it. And to do it in places where I want the eye to be. How long have I been live for? 1 hour and 45 minutes. Wow! You only have a quarter of an hour left. So it's not too much time. But I think we can pull it off. I still want that thing in the air. Drone like thingy. or not drone, some aerial transport thing, which could be a drone, of course. Yeah. All right. Let's try to. Yeah, I think let's see what we did. What we did here. So this is sort of the first cleanup thing we did today. We ended up with this, and then we decided to add textures and some more details, and then we ended up with this. I'm pleased with it. This could probably be turned down a little bit in terms of opacity. Can lower that a little bit. Yeah, I think it is a little bit too strong. So let's lower that. That's better. We don't want all the attention get drawn away from main picture. Let's put it at like 85. Alright, I'm actually quite happy with it. So we're gonna collapse everything. So there's no going back now. Of course, currently there still is, but we're gonna lock that layer. Not that we need to. I'm not sure. Do I want some aerial vehicle? Probably. What size do we want it to be? Probably not too big, so let's say about this big. And we don't want it to be too fancy because this is sort of a form follows function society, so it's probably not very pretty. Let's draw it out so we get the sort of the overall shape down. I was thinking sort of a little cockpit down below. It's too dark. Just want this, but a tiny bit darker. So sort of a cockpit down here. And sort of for the rest, just a beam to the back, and then sort of almost like a flying skeleton, which you can load with these huge containers to transport places. So So this is sort of the control room, cockpit, and it flies this skeleton thingy, and you can load that with maybe it's sort of modular, so you can load it out with different types of stuff, and then you can fly that to wherever you want. I think I'm gonna go with orange thrusters, because a lot of sci-fi use blue, which is a cool color to have, but just to sort of separate this from sort of the usual sci-fi tropes. I think it can use some more detail, but I think it's kind of neat, and we can put this anywhere where we want. We can put this over here. We can put it over there. We can shrink it, which is probably best idea. Could be opacity a little bit. It's fairly far into the background, and we can copy it and sort of say, you know what, there is another one flying right over there. And we can copy it even one more time. And maybe there's a little fleet flying here. Yeah, that's all the stuff that we can do with that. Oops, we don't want to destroy that one. That one. Or maybe they leave a trail of nasty looking smoke. Because of those engines. So what if we were to get some smoke here? Copy that smoke as well to that one. Bigger. More opacity on that. Slim it down a little bit. So yeah, I think that's probably it. It probably has to have some lights. Come on. Before we totally finish it up. Let's get the tiny brush in, get some lights in. And maybe a red light. I don't. I never know which one is which, the green or the red. On which wing? So on the left wing it's the red, and right wing it's the green. Right. So let's add a light there. Let's add it up top. And we probably also want to dot these. This is probably a strange red. Get an actual red going here. Let's also dot these buildings with some red lights. These towers and things. Signal the plates that they're there. Let's just add some random lights to the background here and there. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call this one done, pretty much. So there it is, the finished painting. There will be a time lapse of it from the original sketches to this one. So you can also in that time lapse you probably get a glimpse of the other ones as well. I did those on stream as well, so you come back to previous streams and see how it first went. And yeah, so we're gonna create a time lapse. It's probably gonna be out on Friday. Not sure if how long I will make it. If I make some cuts in it, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to make it too long. I don't want to make it a 20-minute video. Although I worked on this for quite a while. I'd like to keep those time lapses at 7 minutes or so. So maybe I will sort of skip the last. Maybe I will skip this stream in that time lapse, because this is just the overall design is there, and it's just cleaning up stuff like that. So you have a minor differences between the original painting or when we started the stream and now. Well, at least for 2 hours work, nothing. Yeah, there's still a lot changed, of course, but nothing too major. The original design is still there. It's just details. So I might keep that out and just skip to sort of this finished product after that. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Ooh, this is the original sketch. Wow. Let me know what you think of the painting, and give me some feedback on what I can improve. because that's what this channel is about. It's all about learning, and I feel that I'm improving a lot. I improved a lot over the course of the last, what is it, 9 months, I think. I think I started, I have to check when I uploaded my first video. I think it was somewhere in April, so we still have 2 months from now. The channel is a year old. I've got something planned for that, but I think between then and now I improved quite a lot, and still improving, still growing, and I feel a lot more confident. So that also helps me putting in time, because when you're not feeling confident, it's harder to put in time because you don't feel good about your work. And I'm feeling a lot more confident now with my work, so it's easier to spend a lot more time with it. And I hope that both my confidence and keeps growing, and my skill level keeps growing, and my amount of time that I dedicate and can dedicate to this channel keep growing. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!